remotely. You're just doing it rote. Again, a robot could do that. Hell, a damn dog could do that. By just putting their paw on the keyboard, they'd have a 50% chance of being right. You've got to invest in training. You have to. Allow people to fail. That's huge. If you don't give somebody the right to fail and then be gentle with them when they do, unlike me. If you don't give them that access, they'll never feel safe in asking you a question. And then you lose the opportunity to expand the brain trust that you are building. Because mark my words, the brain trust that you have is your golden ticket. Thank you. Did you hear me that time? Did you hear what I said? I told you, I really didn't need this. I grew up in Boston, come on. Value that brain trust. Value it. Because they are your number one customer, is your employee. It's all about speed. 24/7. The business owners know they can get it. Because see, they're getting hustled by all these technology companies saying, if you use this app, if you use this technology, you're going to get what you need right away. They get it. They just don't understand it. So you've got to be fast too. You've got to get them this stuff, turn it around. So here is an example. Real life example. Last December, two of my partners were with me. We had done a cross-country tour of the United States, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, and Florida. They were really ready to go home by the time we were done. Because they landed in New York City in snow from Chennai. That was interesting. So we're at my house in San Diego on a break between Los Angeles and Texas. And I received an email while we were at the Los Angeles show from a guy in Spain who said he had a company based out of Florida. His partner was in Florida, he lived in Spain. They do e-visit visas. And he said his accountant in India was refusing to use the technology that he had purchased to put in place in his company to make it run smoothly. And he looked me up on the Intuit Professional Advisors Network, which is the only place you'll ever see me advertised, and it's because they're doing it for me, I don't advertise. And my partners were standing in the room. Now, they've seen the results of what I've done, but they didn't see me actually do it. I said, well, since you're in Spain, in the email, I said, let's do Skype, because that's cheaper for both of us. In 1 hour and 20 minutes, I had a digitally signed contract, access to every single one of his source documents digitally, access to his accounting software, the process and procedure to get him cleaned up and brought to the end of the year. And 24 hours later, we had the work done. I now have a full monthly contract with that client. 1 hour and 20 minutes through Skype. It didn't cost me a penny to get that client. I got another client in Israel. I got a client in Germany. I've got a client in the UK. I got lots of clients in the United States, and not all of them live near me. And I basically say, if you want to work with me, you got to be on the cloud. You got to use technology. You got to have your software stack. You got to understand, we will do all this for you, but you got to do your side of the bargain. I'm the app concierge. Once that is set up, all I do is oversee the management. I don't do any of the accounting or any of the work. The technology and my people do that. My good partners in Chennai. This was a CPA in Glendale, California, who hired me to come in and consult with his team. They have 75 accountants. And they were losing business. Why? Because they were adding no value to the clients they had. And this is what he gave me and told me I could post. And this was 4 years ago in the United States.
Hey, Penny.
Yeah?
Great, but we'll be having a lot of questions because we'll be...
This was the last slide.
Yeah, great.
See?
Alright, a few questions which I have received from the audience, and obviously everyone can ask. What do you think are the extra qualifications or additional qualities a chartered accountant should have to get into this business?
You got to get your infrastructure in place. You've got to think outside the box. You've got to understand that you have to take the initiative and consult with your clients. You can't just give them a financial statement, a P&L, an audit statement. That's not good. That's going away. It's already gone away in the United States. That has no value in the United States.
A few young professionals have asked us a question that, if you take a degree as CPA or ACCA or any other accounting degree of that particular country, will that be an added advantage?
It can be, yes. It can be because of the ego of the CPAs, yes. It's going to give you more panache. It certainly does. I mean, it certainly matters when I talk to CPAs in the United States who want to outsource to us. The fact that I have CAs who understand U.S. tax and U.S. accounting, that is important to them, yes.
What do you think is the most important approach? Like, let's say we have more than 200,000 accountants in India, and there's a huge demand, like we have seen it all over the world, people are looking for accountants. What's the best possible way for them to approach them and communicate to them that, hey, we are there and we can do this work?
When it comes to the U.S., it's only the U.S. I'm talking about.
Yes, only US. Do you think we should go and knock door ahead or knock?
Don't have somebody with an Indian accent calling them, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to be blunt with you. They're going to hang up right away. You need a U.S. representative. You really do. And you need to find somebody who has a good Rolodex, who can bring you into larger firms, because the larger the firm, the better off you are. Because you just need a couple of them to make yourself successful. So, yeah, unfortunately, there are too many people in my country that like Donald Trump. And they're afraid. They're accountants just like you. So, just imagine somebody who thinks and feels like you do. They're just living on the other side of the world. There's no difference. So they tend to just kind of blow it off. I'll get calls like, I can get this done really cheap. And so I signed up for it. And I said, well, how'd that work for you? Oh my God, it was horrible.
How important is it to visit that country? Like,
Huge. Come here. Manila, I got to tell you, Manila was the first person I got Expatax to bring over to the United States. Will you tell them what happened?
Yeah, please share your experience. She is from Chennai. She is an accountant and she's doing work for Penny.
She's my partner. First off, I would like to introduce myself. I completed my CA in 2009.
You got a CA?
Yes. Yes, yes. I started my career with one MNC company who is doing US taxation and US accounting, Canadian taxation and Canadian accounting. So that's my first starting point. And after that, I joined with Penny and started our own BPO. Rather, I have to say it's KPO, it should not be a BPO. And we have been traveling to US and meeting so many CPAs there in order to get new business. What I'm trying to I'm trying to present myself there, what we are doing actually in India when they are outsourcing to India. Because none of them, they don't know what we are doing here. What is our ability is, what is our accounting knowledge is. I can, in all conferences, I will be telling that you are having a very big wealth in India, that is the manpower and their accounting knowledge. This accounting knowledge, auditing knowledge will make your work very easy. So I am presenting myself as a representative of chartered accountants in US in all conferences actually. So like that I have started my career with this US accounting. So now like as Penny said, the last year we have been traveling to 6 different cities. We covered almost 6 cities of US in all zones. And they don't know actually what we are doing here. So we have to come out, we have to expose ourselves, present ourselves to the global, not only US I am telling, it can be with Australia or it can be with Canada. And we are also getting more opportunities there.
I think, just to interrupt you, I think the most important part is, instead of we are heard from Penny, is what are those 5 important things you consider to be important, which a chartered accountant, in practice should have or should inculcate in themselves to be prepared to work for.
Yeah.
What are those 5
The first and foremost thing that we should have is understanding the clients. Understanding the client in the sense, I am not telling about what we have to debit for their accounts or what we have to credit for their to make them happy. It's not what they need actually, because I'm ending up doing some IRS audit work also when they are outsourcing to us. If they are getting notices from IRS, they are pushing the work to us. What is really happened wrong with this one? So we have to detailed attention is very, very important in this. We have to go into their accounting, and not only in accounting and the whole business. Each and every client's business we have to understand. That is the most important thing that
Great.
was.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? Anyone? Yes.
Yes.
This question is to Penny. Do you think that the advancement of technology would be a deterrent to the outsourcing work? And the question number 2 would be that what are the challenges in terms of outsourcing work to Indian accountants as far as data security is concerned?
Good questions. Yes, technology is going to hurt you. You've already heard that from several of the other speakers. It's going to hurt you if you stay thinking like an accountant. However, if you learn those technologies and think like a business owner, you can utilize it to present your clients consulting work. Okay? One of the things that we use, KPIs. There's a ton of programs out there that integrate to the accounting software that, as long as the stuff is put into the GL correctly, will push it into a KPI, and now you have a report that you can give to the client, and you have a point of reference to start a discussion that will turn into a longer, more deeply involved engagement. So you're not always going out and getting new clients. That's 1. 2, security. Huge! Major, huge. I walked into a company in Mumbai. They hired me as a consultant to come in. I walked out 20 minutes later. I told the CEO, you're screwed. You've got each of these guys on individual laptops. Nobody's monitoring what they're doing. You don't have a central server. They're just going out on open networks into clients' work. You've broken every rule of law in the United States. I've gone into CPA offices in the United States and seen the same goddamn thing. So we're being held accountable at the United States level. CPAs with the AICPA, they have a security mandate. You have got to provide your security level. I got them ISO certified. That's huge.
I think, that's correct. But also what we have experienced working with the clients for the last 15 years is the trend, and what Sumit was saying. The focus has changed from doing a regular manual bookkeeping, the transactional process, to a more consulting approach, where we are looking, we are expected that we to understand the client, which I've already said.
Yes, that's true, but we still need to be secure in what we're doing. Nothing ever goes to India. India comes into my servers.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, for the purpose of knowledge process outsourcing. Yeah, for the purpose of knowledge process outsourcing business, the approach should be to CPAs or it should be directly to clients, to the industry or whatever?
That's another good question. Do you want me to answer? Or do you?
Yeah, please,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, if you're going to do it vertical, and by vertical I mean you're going after one market, fast food restaurants, dental offices, you could do that probably effectively and cost effectively because you could go in to their conferences, you could present, you could have a booth, you could get their trade journals, find out what their pain points are, and you could scale that up. So, but if you're going to go to a bunch of different small businesses or medium-sized businesses, SMEs in the United States, then you're not going to be able to load level that, and you're not going to be able to expand it. You won't be able to keep up with it. So find a vertical, a type of business that you think needs this, that you can get involved in and that you like to do. You have to enjoy doing it. If you don't want to do it that way, then CPAs are your next best bet. If you're going to go to CPA offices, got to look for somebody who's got at least a minimum of 15 people working there. Because other than that, they really don't have the need for you, and they'll trickle stuff in, and they'll always resent the bill when they get it.
One other question, Penny, which we are facing is with the approach of all these big fours having a huge network all over the world. A CPA sitting anywhere in the world, will they be more attracted working with them, or will be looking for someone like us who are customized, who can give better services, will be more connected, and can give them more customized service as compared to that voluminous service of 1,000 to 2,000 seaters?
Yes, if they know you can do it. If you can prove that you can customize, that you can think outside the box, and that they can depend on you. For example, just in the last couple of months alone, I've picked up 3 firms, CPA firms in the United States, who are already outsourcing to India. And the first couple of months, it's always, everything was great. Yeah, wonderful. And then the report is, then it all went to hell. I don't know who's doing the work, I don't know what's going on, and you lost the business. You lost the business because I got it, because I had the process and the procedures, and I had the technology in place, and I had the knowledge. I had good knowledge workers who share information. Here's one of the things that I noticed is that CPAs can tell when somebody else is doing the work that wasn't doing it before. I'll get an email, I'll get a call and go, Penny, somebody else is doing our work. It's a new person, but they're still using the same ID. You think they can't tell? They can tell immediately.
Penny, one important question. With all the youngsters in the back.
Youngsters in the back.
Hey,
Hi.
hi.
Look at there, there's the future, that's your competition. I told them don't
They are in
come.
the back. So the question from them is, what is better? Shall I stick over here, talk to you, get the business, or I should travel over there, stay there for a couple of years, understand the culture, understand the commitment, and actually get into that for a couple of years, and then come back to India and do this business?
I don't think you have to spend a couple of years.
Okay.
I think you could pick a couple of different conferences to go to in the United States where you're going to meet CPAs. The ITA conference, which is the Internet Technology Accounting Conference, is a good one. QuickBooks Connect, there were 4,000 accounting and bookkeeping firms at that one last year. 4,000 potentials who are all sitting there going, I'm overwhelmed with work. If you had sat at the table with one of them, do you think you could have closed the whole table?
Yeah, Neeraj.
What all accounting softwares knowledge we need apart from QuickBooks, or QuickBooks is sufficient?
QuickBooks is a great start. They actually dominate the market still in the United States. And the QuickBooks Online is taking over the desktop. In fact, I don't take clients on desktop, and I've been telling everybody for 3 years, desktop is dead. Xero is probably your next one. They're pretty good. They're not as strong in the US. They're much stronger in the UK and Australia, but they are growing in the US. Intact for higher level engagements with larger companies. Intact is awesome. For there, you probably are going to have to send somebody over to Intact in Los Gatos, California, and have them actually train on that stuff, because it's a little bit, it's modular, it's much bigger.
Like we all know that this is a mutually beneficial opportunity
It has to be.
for the chartered accountants in India and the CPA abroad. Now my question is that, do you see a possibility of trend wherein instead of Indian chartered accountants going abroad and pitching for the work, the CPAs coming down to India?
Which is actually what it is doing.
I wish. I'd like to say my country wasn't so ethnocentric that they wouldn't do that. Some of them will. The larger firms actually will. And those are the ones you want to go after anyways.
Yeah, I guess, yes, please.
In terms of work areas, what are the avenues, where you see a lot of, scope for us to go and add value? One of them is accounting, right? Which you are saying anyways is, with automation, I think giving financial insights, financial analysis, helping businesses infer, from those numbers better. That is one area. Other than that, maybe in legal matters, in compliances.
Oh, absolutely, yes. We do a lot of that work, and what happens is, when I'm talking to the client in the US, like that guy's talking on the phone, the teacher in me comes out at that point, I'm sorry. So what I do is I'll just nonchalantly talk to them, and they'll go, oh God, we've got this, da, 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 and it's nothing to do with accounting, so they don't think about us. And I'll go, oh, we can do that. We can do that. So yeah, sure, we're doing compliance works, we're submitting sales tax forms, we're doing all of that stuff. We're going in and organizing their document management system because they screwed it all up. Sure, we can do that. But you have to have somebody who's constantly talking to the client. And if the client doesn't feed back to you, if the client doesn't give back to you any information, that's a bad client. And you're probably going to lose them, or you should get rid of them.
We'll take one or two more questions because we have another speaker live from New Jersey. Just 2 more questions, because there's one speaker is waiting. Go ahead.
I'll get you next, okay?
You basically mentioned the importance of having a US representative, right? So, for people like us, who would believe that we can set up, the stuff that you mentioned right here and the knowledge base. How do we go about, getting the right representative in the US?
A U.S. representative doesn't have to be a U.S. person. It can be an Indian that you have that works with you that wants to live in the U.S. They can do that too. It has to be somebody there that they can see, feel, touch, because it gives reality. You're not otherwise you're just some group of people over there and you're scared. I mean, they're human beings. Everybody's a human being, Aren't you afraid of people over there sometimes? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take one more question from there. Yes, please.
Regarding, is there any SAP related work also getting outsourced from US related to accounting?
Any what?
SAP related. Like you have talked about other softwares, QuickBooks and tax. So is it SAP related works also getting outsourced from US?
Yes, they are. Yes.
Yes.
The compliance work is different for each and every country. So what are the compliance work that we need to follow for your countries, and what are the softwares that
Well, you can just look it up on irs.gov.
Yeah, that I can answer you there. So when the compliances are concerned, you just need to do most of the part is the elementary part. And the software takes care of most of the part. But yeah, you can at least go to the Google, there are at least 10 accounting softwares which are great, taxation softwares, payroll softwares. QuickBooks is again taking just like Tally in India.